Hello and welcome back to a view from the Bullens. Today we're going to be looking at the Crystal Palace 1-1 draw last night on the final whistle, and it's me, Luke Davis, and Paul Drapes. So first of all, when you were walking out the ground last night, were you disappointed or were you slightly positive because it could have been a bit worse?
I think yesterday was a real disappointment for everyone. I think we all thought we could have got 3 points there. It's a game where if you're the players, the staff, the fans, you try and think, okay, yeah, we can target a win here, especially the run we've been on. You can just tell these players they need a win from somewhere to build their confidence back up. But I think it all started from the lineup. I personally think Dyche got it wrong, and I am a big fan of him. But yesterday, I think he went a bit too pragmatic, a bit too defensive, maybe, or he wasn't bold enough to kind of go for the game. I think that right-hand side yesterday, you just knew it was really going to be non-existent going forward. Obviously, a centre-half in Ben Godfrey and a 38-year-old converted full-back and on the wing as Ashley Young. You know, it's not going to be the most fluid going forward or kind of the most attacking. But yeah, really disappointment. Obviously, you can say that the players had the character to kind of get a draw and come back from behind, but I think yesterday was a real bad one for everyone. You could just feel it. You could just feel it at the ground. It did feel like a loss yesterday for me.
Yeah, it's almost like when we go into them games that when we expect to take 3 points, we make hard work of it. Like we were discussing before we come on air about, obviously we'll go on to the Brighton game, that you maybe expect or trust the players more in them type of games away from home than at Goodison. Do you think? I think James Garner said today that the fans should be booing, obviously, the players. But how big of a factor do you think Goodison is in this, like, sort of free wins now at Goodison this season in the league? It's not good enough. Like, what do you think it is?
I think it's a number of multiple factors. I think probably the crowd being. I'm not gonna say it's a bad crowd. I'll never think it's as bad as obviously as you've been reading in social media and that kind of stuff. But us as fans, we are a nervous fan base. We are a kind of, not want to say edgy, but we're always kind of tense. We're always kind of ready to go, maybe for the good or for the bad, and that's what comes with Everton. It's a passionate fan base. It's a passionate ground, and I think for James Garner to say that fans shouldn't be booing. Obviously, you always want the fans to support the players for however long the game goes, but it gets a time where players have to give something to the fans, and I don't think they did yesterday. Personally, I think they were lethargic, they were sloppy, and obviously that then comes onto the crowd. And we all know when we've been in the game, you kind of get infected from it. You kind of get the negativity fed through towards the crowd, towards the Glasgow, the parking or whatever stand you may sit in. But also, I think the way we play only suits us at home to play against certain teams, against 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 teams in the league, and when you're playing against the other 10, 11 teams, it's really hard, because they all want to play the way that we'd like to play. Whereas we'd like to maybe sit in a bit deeper, maybe a few turnovers, try and hit teams on the break, quick transitions, obviously try and bully teams in midfield and make it hard for them. And when a team like Palace comes to Goodison yesterday, that's exactly what they want to do. And that's why in our games the first goal is imperative, because then whoever gets the first goal has got something to hold on to. And we've seen numerous times when we've got the first goal, we've held on to a win or maybe a draw, apart from obviously the City game at home. But when we go 1-0 down, we haven't got the quality or the tactical ability to break teams down and to kind of really take it to them, put it on them, and score a few goals or create a few more clear-cut chances. This said, I think we had enough chances yesterday to win the game. I'm sure we'll touch on, I think, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's got to at least get one of his two clear headers at least on target. If then the keeper saves it, it's a different story, but you've got to get at least one of them on target. And yeah, the lack of goals from open play, it is a worry.
I think it's more worrying, obviously, on the lack of goals, that there's not really an answer to that question of why. Why are we not scoring goals? I think Calvert-Lewin this season, I read a stat that obviously his XG, his expected goals, it's actually 6 more this season than what it was under Ancelotti. So I think that's interesting. It's not that he has a lack of chances. You see last night, apart from the City game, obviously he didn't have chances, but last night he had 2 clear-cut chances, and he should, as you said, be getting that on target. But then again, it's like, if Beto was in that position, does he do any better? Does Schmidt do any better?
We saw that full of Beto maybe wins.
It's just like, and it's also how Dyche persists with these players. It's like, he used to do it with Michael Keane. He used to persist and let him make the mistakes. But now it seems like it's Ashley Young at the moment. I don't know why last night he's played Young over Harrison. I don't see what Ashley Young offers going forward, what Jack Harrison can't, to be honest. I don't know what your take is on that.
I think unless Jack Harrison wasn't 100% fit, available and well, I think then he should have started. And I'd expect him to start. But I think Ashley Young, he's played against Saints since Fulham. I think he's done okay. But obviously it's been different contexts of games. It's been games where we've had to defend more, or we've had to be more solid, or we've had to kind of shut up shop a bit and maybe play out for draws, or we know we're not going to have as much as the ball. Yesterday, for me, should have been a natural winger out there. May have been Harrison or even Lewis Dobbin. I think that would have been the better answer for the game. And I think you saw as soon as Harrison and Onana came on, they made an impact. We looked more of a threat, or we looked like we knew what we were doing a bit more than before them. But yeah, in terms of why aren't we scoring goals, it's mad, isn't it? We're having chances from open play, from set pieces, obviously another goal from another corner, and these players, they just can't hit a barn door at the moment. I don't know if it's confidence, if it's ability, if it's luck, or if it's just a mix of all of these factors combined. But yeah, if we don't start scoring a few more of our chances, then the battle will be a real struggle, because Everton don't concede many goals. And I think from open play, we don't concede a lot. I know, obviously, yesterday, Andre Ayew scored a really good goal, and I think we touched on before the game. He was our only worry, really, from a Palace point of view, because he always turns up against Everton. But apart from that, Everton are solid, and Everton are hard to beat and hard to break down, but we need to have more quality and more tactical ability to break teams down, going forward.
And then I think you mentioned Onana, then that's obviously the other questionable selection from Dyche. It's James Garner and Idrissa Gana Gueye midfield at home against Crystal Palace, and you've got Onana on the bench. I just think them games, you'll just go for it from the off. Like we spoke before we came on air, he's too reactive all the time. You're not proactive. He needs to set teams up to win the game, and then you can make changes later on. But he's done the opposite thing. He's brought Onana on later on. Obviously, he's got the goal, but he's the only player I see in that midfield that looks for a forward pass or is progressive and wants to move forward. I don't know really what's happened to James Garner, to be honest. He used to play a lot more free-flowing football. He used to pick passes out when he was at Forest, and he sort of just fell off a cliff at the moment, I think.
I think he's struggling for form at the moment, obviously. I think the fact that the midfield himself and Onana, obviously, until he got injured, they've had to play. Everything doesn't help. I think it happens with the wingers too. They ran into the ground, and he probably deserves a little bit of a rest and break and recharge his batteries up and then go again. But I think Amadou Onana's got to be in the lineup every single week when he's available and fully fit. Again, if he wasn't deemed 100 enough fit to start, then hold my hands up and take that. But I think Idrissa Gana Gueye actually had quite a solid first half, especially till he went off at about 65 minutes. But what Onana brings in is, I think he makes everyone around him better. Obviously, he's comfortable on the ball. He'll come and get the ball from centre halves, from Michalenko. He'll drive with the ball. He allows you to break between the lines to kind of bring your team forward. He's a threat in the air, as we saw yesterday, obviously, with his goal. Really, really good header from, I know it's only a few yards out, but he done well to make himself bigger than everyone else, and obviously the keeper, and head it home. But yeah, for me, he should start every week when he's fit and available. He's a really, really good talent. I think he can be frustrating at times. Obviously, will misplace passes. He will kind of sometimes let games pass him by. But I think he tends to be playing forward and progressive passes, which are the ones that tend to then be misplaced or overhit or anything like that. So yeah, in terms of James Garner, as we said, he's struggling at the moment, but he is a really good player, and he will come back to his full potential, because he has showed us what he can do, and I think he just needs a bit of a rest, because for me, most of them, they ran into the ground and they're just running on really, really low energy.
You say they're running on low energy, but I know obviously other teams have bigger squads, but everyone's sort of in the same boat. And I look at other teams and I think they don't look like that. I think we sometimes you don't look fit in like the latter stages of the game, especially like players like McNeil. He just looks like he's running out of steam. Like his legs have gone jelly. It's frustrating to watch, but I just think, where do we go from here? Like I know that we'll come on to the positives. Obviously, we are out of the bottom three now, 1 goal difference. Luton still with the game in hand. But it's like, what do you do next? How do you change the team?
I think the two obvious ones are Onana and Harrison. I think they're the two obvious ones. Apart from that, you just haven't got much more to pick from. We've only got a squad of 13, 14 players that Dyche really trusts, and he thinks that are capable of doing the job. Do you maybe give McNeil a rest? But again, you've only got a young Lewis Dobbin due to Danjuma's injury. Maybe, do you want to change the right back? Maybe Godfrey comes out and Coleman, Patterson or Ashley Young come in. Apart from the obvious two, which are Onana and Jack Harrison, I can't see many changes for Saturday against Brighton. I think it's more of the setup and how the team actually play. They think they went on the front foot enough yesterday. I don't think we pressed Crystal Palace as high as we could have, as we have done in the past. I think Adam Wharton, for them, I'd have to say he was exceptional. What a player they've signed themselves from Blackburn Rovers. But yeah, we just let them get into the game, really. And I think towards the end of the first half, they were having a few corners, a few set pieces. They were having success with them. They were creating danger and kind of panic within the crowd and the team. And then after that goal, they just had to sit deep, try and break us down, Everton. And fortunately for us, we managed to get the goal. But yeah, it was really, really sloppy, and we just need to keep going. And I think the way that Brighton play suits us much more. I think we were saying this before off air. It suits us much more to how we want to play, to try and hit teams on the break. And we saw what happened last season when we went down to Brighton, down to the Amex. So hopefully we can repeat that kind of performance and come away with something from Brighton.
Yeah, I think one of the big issues is obviously it's great that our set pieces are so strong. I think it's over 50% of goals now. But last night we had 19 shots, and I think only 4 were on target, something like that. And it's almost like if we don't score from a set piece or a corner, it's like there's not really much of a plan B. I don't know what you think about that, but it just seems like it's so one-dimensional and predictable. If I was an opposition manager, I'd think deal with the set pieces and you've got your clean sheet against Everton.
I don't think it's necessarily as predictable. I think it's just in terms of the shots and the shots on target, we're just shooting from poor positions, or we're just taking poor shots. Obviously, 2 of them, one's a Calvert-Lewin's headers where really you think you've got to get them on target. I think one was a volley from the corner in the first half, which I think was unlucky to just go past the post. But yeah, we just need to get the ball between the target. I know it sounds easy, and they always say the hardest bit in football is scoring goals. Believe you me, we can tell that by now. But we just need to start getting our shooting boots on, because as you rightly point out, 19 shots, 4 on target. That isn't good enough. I think it was Sam Johnston in goal yesterday. He made one good save from Tarkowski from a header. I think then James Garner hit one really straight at him. And apart from that, he had a relatively comfortable afternoon. And yeah, if you are an opposition manager, you are trying to deal with the set pieces. But at the same time, our set pieces are so strong that they are really, really hard to deal with. So it is one of them. Hopefully we can start putting a few of these chances away, because if not, it's going to be a really long few months.
Do you think, obviously, as we're recording, that the decision about the points still is yet to be seen? So do you think that's sort of now getting to the players? Obviously, we're frustrated. Like, it's annoying the fans. The mood isn't great because it's just the uncertainty, like with anything. But do you think that's seeping into the dressing room? Because we had that siege mentality at the start of like us against the world, but that seems like it's sort of worn off a little bit now. I think the players, they'd rather just have the points back and they know where they're at, because obviously there's an asterisk attached to everything at the moment.
I think it obviously has got to the fans. I mean, it's got to myself. I imagine it's got to you, to everyone involved here. And the players, you can probably imagine it has to, because let's be honest, yesterday, if we haven't had that 10-point deduction, you're just thinking, okay, go to Goodison, see how it goes, beat Palace and you go above Chelsea. And it's much more relaxed crowd, much more relaxed performance, probably much more relaxed everything in its mood. It's just completely different. But now, obviously, you get 10 points deducted. Nottingham Forest win on Saturday. And it's much more nervy, and that probably does get to the players, because I know Dice tries to keep that out from the dressing room as much as he can, but they're only humans, really, the players. So they'd only be feeling what we're feeling, if not a bit more pressure, because it's obviously their job and their kind of livelihood. But yeah, it is what it is. We need to stop kind of dwelling on the points. If they come back. We need to think that they're not going to come back, really. Just because expect the worst in that scenario for me. And if they come back, then it's a positive. Or even if it's 2 or 3 points for me, it'll be a positive, and you can look from there. But yeah, we need to try and stay away from all that noise as much as we possibly can. That at the second breach and the takeover.
Yeah, so we'll move on to obviously the Brighton game, 3 o'clock on Saturday. A tough game for Everton, to be honest. But then again, you look back on last season, it's kind of like a masterclass from Dice last season, the 5-1, or it might have been an act of God, one or the other. But I think that's a game, as we said, that we go into and you think, yeah, we might get something from that. It's one of them away games where you think, Brighton, it depends what Brighton turn up. Obviously, they were great last week against a very poor Sheffield United team, must be said. They won 5-0. But, so, like, if you're going into that, would you take a point, or do you want more from that? Obviously, that's we're permitting. If we get the points back, it's a different story. But let's just say we don't get the points back. But what you want and what you expect?
I'll expect us to be in a real difficult game. I'll expect Brighton to make it really hard for us. They're a really good team. I think they're starting to get players back. Matoma was back from the Asia Cup. Obviously, he avoided serious injury after that Holgate tackle. Who somehow thought it wasn't even a yellow card. Holgate don't know how. Simon Adingra, he's back from winning the AFCON. He's a really good player, got through the weekend. But I think the way that De Zerbi likes to play suits us, and the way we like to play is kind of Brighton's biggest bother, in terms of sit deep, low block, kind of hit them on the counter, try and expose the spacing behind their fullbacks and the centre halves. But yeah, will I take a draw? I always say this, it depends on the results around us. If Luton and Forest lose, I think you take a draw all day long. If we had let's say 3 or 4 points back, you'd take a draw too, probably. But if Luton and Forest pick up 3 points the weekend, then you probably have to look at needing a win there to not drag yourself further into the scrap, with the second breach still to come. So yeah, gonna be a difficult game. We have been there, we have kind of done it before, and at Brighton we were really unlucky not to beat them at Goodison this season. So yeah, it's gonna be a really difficult game, but hopefully we can get something out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of think we can get something out of it, but I think it just depends on the selection. It'd be interesting to see the selection, to be honest, because Obviously, Ashley Young, I hope he doesn't go with Ashley Young on the wing.
Oh, I agree.
I hope he brings Addison back in. But the midfield's one of them. It's like, do you need your Idrissa Gana Gueye in that type of away game? You know, they're a team that do play through the midfield. They're good on the ball. They like having the ball. Do you need that player that does it, like the dirty work, wins the ball back?
I think, to be fair to James Garner, his best ever performance for me was away at Brighton last year. I think he was exceptional, especially that first half. He was everywhere. He won the ball back numerous times. He was really unlucky not to score at the end of the first half. So I think if he can replicate that kind of performance, Everton will be in a very good position going forward. I think Onana also, he played a really wonderful pass to McNeil for the 5th. So if they can replicate them kind of performances, then Everton will have a bigger chance of having a successful outcome from the game.
Yeah, I think Luton play Liverpool at Anfield on Wednesday, so you'd expect Liverpool to win that game. So by then, I think we're both on 25 played and both on 25 points as well. Is that right?
20 points, I think.
20 points. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, so we're on the same amount of points, same amount of games played. So then it's sort of like a race then to the finish. And I watched Luton against Man United, and I think Man United should have been out of sight in the first 20 minutes, to be honest. But you've got like that desire. They just seem to get something from nothing. The physical, you know exactly what they are. And it's almost like, yeah, they'll go 2-0 behind, but they believe to come back. And I think sometimes you watch Everton and you think, if we went 2-0 behind, would we really be doing that? And I think that's what worries me about Luton. I feel like they've just got that belief, and they seem a lot more positive than us at the moment. And obviously, you know, it's the expectation of Everton shouldn't be battling with Luton at the bottom, but we really need to start picking up wins. But the positive is, from last night, obviously we are out of the drop zone, and I think it's four draws in 5 games. So we are like stuttering along, we are picking up points. So, and I think we're on 1.2 points per game as an average so far this season. So that obviously without the points deduction again, that'll take us to 45.6, so 46 points, let's say, at the end of the season. So really, we should be sort of a mid to lower table team. And this is again going back to that points deduction. It's sort of just ruining everything at the moment.
Yeah, but gotta be honest, we brought it on ourselves by, well, the board brought it on the club by not running the club the way they should have and kind of making daft decisions. And then in the hearing, the majority shareholder saying that, yeah, he overspent because he needed a new midfielder to play the weekend. But it's one of them. We need to just get on with the points deduction. It's happened. It's there. There could be another one coming. We can't dwell on it too much. And yeah, we should be on course to finishing between 9th and 13th, 14th. But we've got to battle hard like we did last year. I think we got a better chance of staying up this year. The teams around us are worse. I think we're a better side than we were last year. So we just got to keep fighting, just keep going. Because apart from us, really, there's no one else that's going to get us out of the mess. We're not going to get a receiving hand. We're not going to get penalties as we haven't had for ages. And yeah, it all starts Brighton the weekend, and hopefully players can put it right, staff can put it right. And who knows, we'll be coming back from Brighton in a really happy mood.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Any final thoughts before I ask you for a prediction?
Just final thoughts, just be brave, Everton. Everton have got to be brave on the ball. Obviously, they've got to be solid at the back. They can't switch off because Brighton are really good and kind of capitalising in the moments. Got to watch the spacing behind the wingers. I think they do really like to attack down the wing. I think Estepinian and Mitoma on the left, they're a real good partnership. But yeah, Everton need to be brave, and Everton need to take the chances, really. I think that's about it. If Everton take the chances, they've got a chance of coming out of it from the game.
A prediction, if you can.
Everton 2, Brighton 1.
I admire the positivity. I think I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think I'd take that, to be honest.
Probably.
Yeah, but thanks for watching. If you liked our content, you can go over to our Patreon and also view our website, www.bullensview.co.uk. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks very much.